Welcome to Let's Get Shots for America. Today, we're discussing the DTap vaccine, a 3-for-1 special. Toxins, infections, these are both words that we've heard and know that we don't want. We especially don't want our kids to get either of them. Luckily, there's a quick, easy, and effective way to prevent 3 different types of bacterial infections, the DTap vaccine. Before discussing the vaccine, let's go over the 3 pathogens it provides protection from. Starting with diphtheria, this is an acute infection caused by the toxin released by the bacteria C. diphtheria. There are 2 types of infection, respiratory and skin. In a respiratory infection, the toxin kills cells lining the respiratory tract, leading to buildup, making it difficult to breathe and swallow. In a skin infection, the toxin causes the formation of ulcers on the skin. It's spread by contact with infected skin, sneezing, coughing, or any other contact with infected respiratory droplets. Next up is tetanus. This is an infection impacting the nervous system caused by the toxins released by C. tetani. This toxin causes uncontrollable muscle spasms. Some people have coined the disease as lockjaw, since a first symptom is often tense jaw muscles. Other symptoms include abdominal muscle spasms, trouble swallowing, fast heart rate, or fever. Tetanus is spread by contact with the bacteria in the environment, typically through an open wound. Last but not least, pertussis, also known as whooping cough. This is a respiratory infection caused by the bacteria B. pertussis. It mostly affects children under the age of 6 months, but is often spread by adults. Symptoms include coughing spells, a distinct whoops sound when breathing in, mild fever, redness or blueness in the face, moments of apnea. It's highly contagious and is spread through airborne respiratory droplets. People can often spread it for 2 weeks before a cough even starts. Now, let's focus on the vaccine itself. In this single vaccine, there is protection from 3 different preventable diseases. In the United States, there's 7 different variations of the DTap vaccine, but they are all very similar. The vaccine itself is broken into 2 different classes, toxoid and subunit. Additionally, this vaccine is given intramuscularly at first age of 2 months, then 4 to 6 months, 15 to 18 months, and lastly at 4 to 6 years, with boosters later on in life. Let's take a look at what's actually in the DTap vaccine. Before we jump in, let us describe the difference between a toxin and a toxoid. Toxins are what the pathogenic bacteria actually release, causing the illnesses we described earlier. Toxoids, on the other hand, are the chemically modified version of those toxins. Toxoids are not harmful, but they still allow the body to help produce antibodies against the original toxin. Starting off with the antigen, which is promoting the antibody production, we have the diphtheria toxoid, tetanus toxoid, and acellular pertussis antigen. This acellular pertussis antigen is broken into detoxified toxin, filamentous hemagglutinin, pertactin, and fimbriae. These antigens will not cause illness, but provide protection from infection. Next up, we have the adjuvant, which is any material that helps to enhance the immune response. In the DTap vaccine, the adjuvant is aluminum phosphate, which can sound sort of scary, but aluminum is not anything to worry about. Aluminum is quickly excreted from the body, and you can actually find more aluminum in food than is present in the vaccine. The residual ingredients used were formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde. These were used early in vaccine production to modify the toxins into toxoids, and then they are purified away, so they're only present in trace amounts. Lastly, we have the antimicrobial, which is 2-phenyloxyethanol. This is to prevent the growth of any other bacteria in the vaccine. An important special case I wanted to mention was the use of combined vaccines. The DTap vaccine already offers protection from 3 different preventable diseases, but there are formulations available that can offer protection against additional ones. There are two different 5 vaccine formulas that can protect against diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, polio, hepatitis B, or HIV, depending on the formula you choose. These allow for immunity against a larger number of diseases with one shot, meaning fewer needles overall. Before we finish, let us discuss 2 common questions surrounding the DTap vaccine. Why is this vaccine better than normal infection for immunity? Well, first off, that would require infection with all vaccine preventable diseases, which would be distressing for you and your child. Also, in the case of tetanus infection, the normal infection does not lead to antibody production, so reinfection could occur. The vaccine allows your child to be protected from all of these diseases without having to experience any infection. Another common question is, will this vaccine cause immune overload in my baby? To put it simply, no. There were fewer antigens in a vaccine compared to the number of antigens we're exposed to in day-to-day life. Children are exposed to more antigens through one loved one's kiss compared to a vaccine. And an important note is that a baby's immune system has everything it needs to handle vaccines. A final important note is that every ingredient used in a vaccine is purposeful and well researched well before it's used. There are very strict safety rules and regulation throughout vaccine production, so there's little to no risk for each ingredient. If you would like to learn more about the DTap vaccine or combined vaccines in general, feel free to check out the CDC website. Also, it's highly recommended to talk with you or your child's doctor about any concerns or questions you might have about the DTap vaccine. Thank you for tuning in.